Hello, my name is Noelle Hutchison, and today we are going to be learning about the pathology of asthma. Pathology is just a chain of reactions within the body that results in the symptoms we see in a disease. In cases of severe asthma, these symptoms can prove fatal. It's important to understand pathology in the investigation of cures. Currently, we only have short-term treatments involving steroids for asthma, which is not ideal because steroids suppress the immune system, which we so heavily rely on to protect us from pathogens. The lungs are comprised of surface epithelial cells that make up the airway epithelium. When we inhale, we are bringing in foreign material, otherwise known as allergens. This material will try to get past the airway epithelium and irritate the cells. These cells in turn release IL-33 and IL-25 cytokines. Cytokines are just signaling molecules, so the signal is received by innate lymphoid cells floating around in the extracellular fluid here, and they, in response, release IL-13. And IL-13 actually travels throughout the body and recruits dendritic cells. So the dendrites of the dendritic cell can bind to proteins found in the extracellular fluid known as antigens. Antigens are really important in identification. When dendritic cells bump into Th2 cells or other T helper cells, the receptors on the Th2 will bind to the antigens on the dendritic cell. And this is otherwise known as antigen presentation and antigen recognition. Once the Th2 recognizes that this protein belongs to something outside of the body, it will release a signal IL-5. In smaller quantities, the ILC2 will also release IL-5. IL-5 ultimately recruits eosinophils, and as indicated by the dots, eosinophils are granulocytes. Basically, that just means that they have granules within them or vesicles containing material. When they enter the lungs, they will adhere to the airway epithelium and then release their granules. These granules contain hydroxides and cytotoxins, which, when they permeate the membranes of the airway epithelial cells, can actually kill the cells. So that's what causes a lot of the severe inflammation seen in asthma. It's really important to understand this pathway in order to figure out where along the line we can inhibit it to avoid any of these responses and ultimately treat the asthma response.